Good morning, guys, and welcome to the Houston Zoo. Alicia here, and we are out at our tiger exhibit, and we are starting our celebration for International Tiger Day, which is Saturday, but we wanted to start a little bit early, and we're out here, and Berani, our Malayan tiger, is going to be receiving an ice treat today. If you guys look across our moat, Berani is going to be coming out from the left side of our screen. He's just making his way out here, and he's going to be receiving this green-colored popsicle right in front of you guys. Now, it is not a traditional popsicle. It's not what you and me would eat. It is a little bit different. It's got something like diluted goat's milk in it. It's got meat in it. Not something that we would eat at home to stay cool, but it's something that Berani loves to stay cool. Now, we here at the Houston Zoo, we do a lot of things to keep our animals nice and cool during these hot summer months, and popsicles is one of the things that we do. Not only does it help cool them down while they lick or chew on their popsicle, it also keeps them hydrated. We want to make sure that our carnivores are receiving a lot of fluids, and those fluids are nice and cool. Now, I mentioned that it has diluted goat's milk. Now, I grew up with that iconic photo of a cat drinking milk out of a bowl. That is actually really bad for carnivores. They are lactose intolerant, but goat's milk doesn't have any lactose in it. So this is a nice, safe, easy way for Berani to get something that's yummy and tasty. We like to call it cat ice cream, and it kind of encourages him to kind of lick on that ice treat. The second half of it, and what you kind of see him eating on the top, are little pieces of meat. We call it chunk meat. It's like little pieces of steak. It's kind of like a little treat meat for him. This also is going to encourage him to chew or kind of work on getting that off, again, while keeping him cool. Now, you guys can notice that Berani's exhibit does have a nice big water moat. Berani loves getting in the moat in the summertime. Tigers are known to be a species that really enjoys water play. They like getting in the water. And the water on that side of the exhibit, the bank side, his side, is about 4 to 5 feet deep. So Berani will come out, he'll lay down, he'll rest over in the shade, kind of cool off, get out, go lay in the back, kind of get on the land, dry off, and kind of repeat the process. The water on our side, or the camera side, is a little bit deeper. It's about 17 feet. And that gives Berani the chance to kind of swim around in water, kind of do those normal swimming activities that tigers would do in the wild. Now, Berani here, he is a Malayan tiger. He is going to be turning 11 next month. And Malayan tigers are the second smallest subspecies of tigers. Now, Berani's not small. He's sitting at 300 pounds. But in the tiger world, he is pretty small. At the second smallest subspecies, the biggest one is Amur tigers. Amur tigers can sit around 600 to 800 pounds. So imagine Berani, he's half the size of an Amur tiger. Now, we here at the Houston Zoo, we don't have Amur tigers, but the best idea you can get to noticing how small Berani is for a subspecies, if you come out, check out Hassani, our male lion. He's sitting at about 500 pounds, just over, and that will kind of give you a good size comparison on Berani at 300 pounds in comparison to Hassani at 500 pounds. Our female lions are also sitting at 300 pounds, so if you happen to see Hassani sleeping next to him, that'll give you a good, nice size comparison. Now, another thing is tigers are one of my absolute favorite species, and I'm sure a lot of you guys listening, they probably are your favorite species too. And what is the one thing we know about them? They're orange and they're striped and they're beautiful. Well, some unique things about those stripes is no two tigers are striped the same. So just like we have our own fingerprints and each of us have our own unique fingerprints, tigers have their own unique stripes. So Berani here is striped just unique to him, and his stripes actually go all the way down to his skin. So his skin is even striped just to his uniqueness. So that's kind of something cool about tigers. And researchers in the wild, because those tigers are all striped uniquely, will look at face markings, and that's how they're able to ID tigers differently, to be able to kind of do research on them, such as what are their home ranges, what are they eating, maybe who's breeding with who. They're able to tell with those facial markings. Now, Berani has some unique markings. When you come out to the zoo next, I encourage you guys to look at probably what I would consider my favorite stripe on Berani. It's going to be right on his spine, in the middle of his back. He has what looks like the tip of an arrow from a bow and arrow. Now, tigress actually means arrow, and so it's kind of like a unique thing from Berani. So if you guys come out and you actually see him by the glass and you look right down on his spine, it looks like the tip of an arrow. It's kind of a unique, cute thing. It's my absolute favorite stripe on him. I do have a favorite stripe, and it is that one. Some other really fun facts about tigers are they are the largest species of cat. I did mention those Amur tigers at 600 to 800 pounds. And being that, they are known for being able to jump. Tigers can jump over 20 feet. Super impressive. They are very strong. They are known for that big, strong pouncing ability. So unlike some of the other cats in the cat world, such as cheetahs who are known for speed, or lions who are known to be social, tigers are known for that big, impressive jumping strength. They are also ambush hunters. They're known to kind of stalk their prey, hide in the bushes, and ambush them. Now you may come out and you may say to yourself, well, Berani's all by himself in this habitat. Is he lonely? No, tigers are actually solitary. Lions are the only true social cat. So Berani is by himself, but that is exactly how he wants it. He doesn't want a roommate. He doesn't want anyone crowding his space. What I like to say is he does not like to share the bed. I relate with him. I don't like to share the bed. And this guy likes all of the space in that king-size bed. That is something that is kind of interesting, that most cats are actually solitary, and Berani is no exception. Now, we here at the Houston Zoo, we do a lot for our carnivores. We really take welfare as the #1 most important thing. And there's a few things that go into welfare. First is choice. Choice is really important. We give Berani choice in everything that he does here. We find that the more choice you give the animals, the better welfare, the more natural behaviors they display. So with that comes training. We use only positive reinforcement. And what that means is we actually ask our animals to do things and they get the choice to do it. So Berani knows a wide variety of behaviors, and a lot of them actually go into his own medical care. He most recently learned a voluntary radiograph behavior or x-ray behavior. Now, we haven't had to use it. He's not gotten injured or hurt or anything, but we like to be preventative. We like to be just in case kind of times. We want to make sure we're, anything could happen. We want to be prepared. And he actually learned to lay down on a radiograph plate and be able for us to radiograph him in case something were to happen. But he also knows an injection behavior. If he were to need to get a vaccine, just like we get vaccines, he gets vaccines. He actually lets us give him a hand vaccine in his hip, all protected contact. We do not go in with these guys. If you see his teeth or his claws up close, you wouldn't want to go in either. So he does know an injection behavior. He knows a blood sampling behavior. We actually can get his tail. We can bring it out underneath his bedroom stall. And we can actually have our vet techs draw blood from his tail in case we need to test him for anything, or just routine testing, make sure he's nice and healthy. And then he knows what we call husbandry behaviors. These are body presents. He can stick his tongue out, he can turn around, he can stand up, he can lay down. You name it, we have him present his body for things. You never know when little scratches or things happen, and we want to make sure that we are able to see those things and he can get the best veterinary care possible. And by veterinary care, I mean we have 5 full-time vets on staff at all times. I like to say he has better medical care than I do. I don't like going to the doctor, and he has 5 full-time ready for any whim that he could possibly need. Now, as you guys can see, Berani is still working on this ice treat. He's going to work on it for a while. This is something that we call enrichment. That is also part of that welfare concern. We like to do this for our animals. Enrichment is pretty much anything that we present them that's different any day. It can look like a wide variety of things. So today it happens to look like a nice treat. Tomorrow maybe it's different perfumes or scents, or maybe it's new toys, or maybe it's keeper interaction through training. It can also be something as easy as sometimes we play them movies. Now, Berani doesn't have a favorite movie. I've tried to get him to enjoy different movies. They're not really his thing, but we do offer our animals enrichment every day. Now, we have a question here is, what is his favorite food? Berani is pretty food motivated, and he has a lot of things he really enjoys. I would have to say his favorite food is bone-in meat, which really is just a giant piece of steak with a bone in it. He gets that once a month, and it's a gorge day for him. So it's 10 pounds of meat in one sitting. Now for tigers, that's not a ton. For you and me, that would be a lot of food at one time. But tigers can eat 80 pounds at a time. So for him to sit down and eat a 10-pound steak, that is not a problem. He can eat it in about 5 minutes flat. Now when it comes to Berani eating, Berani himself eats quite a bit of food per day. He eats on average about 5 pounds per day. Now it varies with the seasons. I like to tell everybody when it's really hot in the summer, he's less active and he's going to eat less. And when it's colder in the winter, just like we all like to move around more, he himself is going to move around more too. So I calculated it out on average as a Texan, how many Whataburgers per week Berani himself eats. And the answer is he eats on average about 230 Whataburgers per week. So today, after this Facebook Live, if you find yourself going out and getting yourself lunch, I want you to think about how many Whataburgers a week that Berani himself eats, and that's 230. I don't know about you, I can't eat that many, but he can, and that's pretty impressive, and that's because he's sitting at that 300 pounds. Now over here, you guys are going to see us. We are doing a little bit something different in enrichment, and that is Paul, the keeper next to me. He is tossing Berani, actually that favorite food that I mentioned, that bone and meat. We just have it cut up, and we are tossing it into him for enrichment. And that is to kind of encourage a couple different things. One, for him to get in the water. Again, we want to make sure he's staying nice and cool in this 100-degree weather. Two is to kind of do a little bit of foraging, some hunting, some natural behaviors, looking around for that food, getting into the water looking for that food. I said that tigers are known for swimming. Berani is no exception. And this is to kind of have him look in the water. Maybe he would hunt for fish. This is to kind of encourage that natural behavior, which is what enrichment is for. We do behavior-based enrichment here at the Houston Zoo, which means we have a goal behavior every day. And again, this is going to encourage that natural behavior of fishing. I want to thank everybody for listening this morning. I really appreciate it. And coming out to the Houston Zoo, just so you guys know, by coming out, you guys are actually helping with conservation. We here at the Houston Zoo, we do conservation with tigers. We are helping with anti-poaching units and with going out and trying to stop the poaching of tigers. We're also helping with picking up snares that catch tigers and unfortunately end up killing them. So just so you guys know, by listening and becoming part of that Houston Zoo family, or by coming out to the Houston Zoo, a part of your ticket sales actually goes straight into our conservation fund. And like I mentioned, tigers are my favorite species, so I hope that they're one of your favorite species. So again, you guys, thank you for participating and coming out, being part of our conservation program. We really appreciate you guys. We love that you guys love tigers. This is just the start of Global Tiger Day. It is on Saturday. It's one of my favorite days. I like to say it's like Christmas around here. We are going to be celebrating on Saturday with something special for Berani. So if you guys come out, we highly encourage it. Our keeper chat is at 11:30. So if you guys come out, you're going to get to see something special at 11:30. Probably not a nice treat. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. But come out, see for yourself, kind of see Berani, do some natural behaviors, get to meet him, get to know him. A little bit more about Berani, guys, as we're standing here watching him be absolutely adorable in the water. Berani has kind of a unique backstory, and I like to tell his backstory because he's kind of overcome, you know, some fun odds. He was hand-raised. He was born at the Tulsa Zoo, and unfortunately, his mom was not ready to be a mom, but that's okay. Those keepers were able to intervene, and they ended up starting to hand-raise him. But just like us here at the Houston Zoo, we are a zoo family. All zoos that are part of AZA, they actually work together, and they are a zoo family. So the Tulsa zookeepers, they sent out a thing, and the Point Defiance Zoo said, hey, we have a tiger. We think she's a great candidate to be a surrogate. So he went up to the Point Defiance Zoo and he actually got a Sumatran tiger to be a surrogate. Now she already had a cub and she ended up accepting him. He didn't know that that tiger wasn't a Malayan tiger. He didn't know it was a different subspecies. So he got an adopted sibling, an adopted brother. And he was surrogate, and so they were working together. So he was partially hand-raised, partially surrogate-raised. And then at the age of 2 in 2016, when it was time for him, like I say, go off to college, be an adult, he came here to the Houston Zoo. We were excited to accept him. And it was kind of like time to be a real adult and go off, and we came here. He's been here since 2016. Now, when he first got here, just like when I went off to college, he was a little bit nervous. You know, he wasn't sure what was going on. It was his first time without his mom, and we worked really hard to get him comfortable in this habitat. We did a lot of different things. The first thing he was really nervous about, if you guys have seen us ever drop down our training window, is we worked really hard to make that really positive. He was nervous of being that close to the guests or the keepers, and we put a lot of really yummy food over there or yummy snacks, and eventually he jumped over that hurdle, became really comfortable with keepers, with training, and that was something that we first, and then he settled right in. He's been here since 2016, and he continues to grow every day. Again, he's turning 11 the end of August, so been here quite a while. Some other things, if you guys come out to the zoo, that you may notice is that we actually just recently added these new platforms to his exhibit, and that is for a couple of reasons. Again, we talk about that enrichment, that welfare, that's important. We all talk about choice being important, and one of the things that we noticed is that he needed some more arboreal space or space up high. Tigers themselves are known to be what's considered terrestrial, which means that they spend most of their time actually on the ground in comparison to other cats. So when you think of an arboreal cat, you may think of a leopard, you may think of a jaguar, you may think of smaller cats. I like to think of clouded leopards. They're going to spend most of their time up in the trees, or they're going to move up in the trees. But tigers actually spend most of their time down on the ground. So we actually added these structures for him to get more and move up onto them. It also is to work on his physical strength. I mentioned earlier that they are known for strength. They're known for being able to jump. So the first structure is sitting at about 4 feet. The second structure is sitting at about 8.5 feet. This is to work on his jumping power, to be able to get up vertically, to be able to jump onto the structures, and also to be able to get up almost like he is in a tree. Tigers will go up in trees and kind of lay out and look over the guest. I like to say he's surveying his kingdom, but it is something that he can do, and he can look out over the guest. So if you guys come out and you happen to see him out on the structures, I highly suggest everybody take a photo, tag the zoo. It would make me really excited. I love the new structures. We would love to see photos of him up on the new structures. We are really excited to have them. So far, he's loving them. He's loving getting up there. We are putting lots of yummy food, like I mentioned, up there for you guys. So if you guys do see him out there, please feel free to tag the zoo if you guys see him on those new structures. Again, you guys can notice this whole time we've been talking, he has been working on this ice treat. So you can say that this is a great way for us to enrich the animals. This is a great way for us to keep them cool. This is a great way, I mentioned, to keep them hydrated. We're almost 15 minutes in, still in the water, still working, still licking on that. So you guys can kind of see, just like your kids at home, you want to make sure that the animals are staying nice and cool in these hot summer months. We're like a bazillion days into the summer. It's been over 100 for forever. So this is a really awesome way that we continue to just offer that enrichment, to keep him nice and cool and to encourage him to drink more fluids. Right here, nice engaging enrichment. He continues to go back to it. That is super mentally stimulating. He can't get it off that chain. That's really hard for him. That's a little bit of some failure. That's really common in carnivores. That's a natural behavior. Carnivores are only successful 30% of the time, so failure is actually a natural behavior for them. So this is really natural for him. So this is really encouraging. This is exactly what we want to see as keepers. This is great enrichment in the summer months. We do it a lot less in the winter months. We don't make them get in the water. It's too cold. So this is exactly what we want to see here in the carnivore department. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shout them out. We love to hear what you guys want to know about the carnivores. We love to hear what you guys want to know about Berani. Again, he's one of my favorites. I've been working him for 5 years now. Excited for Global Tiger Day. Well, some other things we do here in the carnivore department besides training and welfare is we actually do behavior observations. So we are 3 years into a research project with Berani. We are doing an instantaneous behavioral observations on him. We noticed that during breeding season, he actually acts a little bit differently. So just like breeding seasons with other animals, we noticed that Berani himself, he seemed to be a lot more active. So we do this with multiple animals. We've done this with our painted dogs. We've done this with our bears. We've done this with our cheetahs. We started doing this with Berani is that we wanted to see what he was doing. So we started doing a behavioral observation on him. We wanted to see what parts of his exhibit was he using, what parts could we utilize more, why was he more active in the winter months? Is it just because it's cold? Is it because of breeding season? We want to know the ins and outs of what our animals are doing. So a couple years ago, we actually started a behavioral observation on him. We incorporated many teams here at the zoo. We incorporated our night team, which you guys recently just met on our Facebook page. We incorporated other departments, such as our primate department, our volunteer staff who are wonderful and here to help take care of the animals. And we said, what kind of things does he do? We noticed a couple things. One, yeah, he's definitely a lot more active in the winter months. That's probably because it's not 1,000 degrees, and that is part of that breeding season. Two, he doesn't get in the water pretty much at winter time at all. I don't blame him. I wouldn't get in the water. And three is that he really enjoys being around the people. He really enjoys being around the guests. He really enjoys being on what would be the right side of our exhibit. We think this has a lot to do with the fact that he was hand-raised. He really gets a lot from people, gets a lot from the keepers. That was something that was really interesting to us. We are diving more into this. What kind of interactions can we get from him? What is he getting from our guests? I like to say he just thinks he's really pretty. He wants everyone to think he's really pretty, so he wants to be near our guests a lot. So he really does enjoy being on that side. And in the summer months, we found that he does a lot more sleeping. It's probably because it's 100 degrees. That's a really natural behavior for tigers. Cats should sleep about 18 to 20 hours a day. We did find that he is doing a lot of that as well. So if you come out to the zoo in the summer months, you are going to notice that Berani himself is spending a lot of time sleeping, as are the other carnivores. We get asked a lot, well, when's the best time to see the cats? I like to tell them either first thing in the morning, at the end of the day, or come in the winter months. The cats are a lot more active. I don't want to be active in the middle of a hot day. They don't want to be active in the middle of a hot day. So we did find through all of those behavioral observations, Berani is displaying a lot of those natural behaviors that you would find in the wild. Again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in with us. Thank you guys for supporting the Houston Zoo. Can't wait to see you guys on Saturday for International Tiger Day. 11:30 is our keeper chat. We can't wait to see you guys next week for our next Facebook Live. And thank you guys for being part of the Houston Zoo family.